Running for governor. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to read a short statement, and then I'll open it up for any questions you all have. I said thank you all for coming. I'm holding this press conference here at the beautiful Capitol building, as once this court case is resolved, this will be where I'm working for the next 8 years. We just filed a lawsuit right now. It's happening right now in Covington County, Alabama. And the reason we chose Covington County is really close to where Destin and Sandestin is, so that way everyone knows down there where he really lives. He lives down in Destin. And the lawsuit is against Tommy Tuberville and the ALGOP to get him to prove where he lives. And please understand, I'm not bashing anybody. I'm only asking my opponent, who is backed by the media, money, and establishment, to prove he's actually been a resident citizen of the state of Alabama for the last 7 years, per the requirements of our Constitution. He has not done this, and for some reason, the ALGOP has not made him do this. I'm through with asking, and now I'm demanding. Tommy Tuberville, tell the people the truth. Swear that you've lived in Alabama for the last 7 years and prove it. I hate suing. I've never filed a lawsuit in my life. It goes against my nature. The only people that win in lawsuits are generally the lawyers, and I don't like that. I did put an offer out to Tommy Tuberville, and my offer still stands. If Tommy Tuberville swears and proves that he's lived in Auburn for the last 7 years by releasing his income tax return, showing he's paid Alabama income tax, by showing he's paid for the last 7 years, if he releases his credit card statements that will show spending habits, if he releases his utility bills at his Auburn and his Florida residence that will show a change in utility bills when he is and is not in residence at both his house of convenience and his Florida home. I will drop the lawsuit. I will drop out of the race. I will vote for him, and I'll donate $1,000 to his campaign if he does that. That's a promise. And I think that's been extremely reasonable. In 2017, Tuberville publicly stated that he hung up his whistle and moved to Florida. When he decided to run for the U.S. Senate, which has different rules for residency than the governorship, by the way, he changed his homestead to Auburn. That's it. Nothing else changed. His spending habits did not change. Just his homestead. He still got his truck serviced in Florida. Where he bought his groceries didn't change. Where he takes his wife out to dinner didn't change. His utility bills did not change. And if he had moved to Auburn, all that would have changed. So hold on one second. His utility bills did not change, and they would have if he had moved to Auburn. His friends and neighbors didn't change. Where his pizzas were delivered didn't change. Nothing changed except his homestead. And his credit card statements and utility bills will prove this. Once elected to the U.S. Senate, Senator Tuberville's flight records and rental car records all show that he never moved. His residency, his homestead did, but he never moved. However, a massive change did happen in 2025 when he decided to run for governor. His flights home magically changed from Florida to Alabama. And if he had really moved back in 2019, then that change would have happened in 2019, not 2025. Alabama's Constitution is clear. It does not state you can own a small house and claim it as homestead in Alabama. It says you must be a resident citizen for the preceding 7 years preceding the election. All I'm demanding, and all this lawsuit is demanding, is that he proves this. Cheating, lying, and backroom deals are not the right way to become governor. This can go one of two ways. If the court does its job, Senator Tuberville will drop out before the primary. Then Alabama will get a governor that does not own millions of dollars in favors to donors. That's going to be a beautiful thing. It'd be nice to have a governor that does not owe tens of millions of dollars in favors. If If the court drags their feet until after the primary and Senator Tuberville gets the primary, Doug Jones is going to sue. That will make Doug Jones our next governor, because Doug Jones will win and Tuberville will be taken off the ballot. When that happens, it will be too late, and Jones won't have a challenger, and it will be too late for the Republican Party to replace anyone on the ballot. So Jones will be unopposed, and Jones will win. I'm pleading to Senator Tuberville, please don't do this to the people of Alabama and the Republican Party. Swear and then prove that you live in Alabama for the last 7 years, or step down. Do not do this to us. Unfortunately, I don't believe that's what Tuberville's lawyers are going to do. His campaign will spend big money on lawyers so he does not have to prove he lives in Alabama. They will try to get the lawsuit dismissed on a technicality or delay until after the primary. They will do anything except prove to the people of Alabama that he's lived in Auburn for the last 7 years. This is stonewalling, and it's going to backfire on his campaign and the good Republicans of Alabama. His lawyers are going to flaunt in our faces that our laws and our constitutions do not apply to him. That's wrong. Now, think about this for a second. The home of convenience in Auburn, it's surrounded by a bunch of student housing. It only has one bathroom. Have y'all met Miss Tuberville or any other SEC head coach's wife her age? An SEC head coach is a massively lucrative job. The wives of SEC coaches tend to have very discriminating tastes. They are easily satisfied with the very best. They don't share bathrooms. Do you really think that Miss Tuberville would live for the last 7 years in a home with only one bathroom? That's insane. That's not going to happen. All Tuberville has said about his resident status is, I rented up the flagpole and I got it okayed with the Republican Party. That's it. He's never sworn that he lived in Alabama, nor has he proven he's lived in Alabama. That's it. Alabama's Constitution is written by the people. The Constitution tells the government what it can do, but more importantly, what it cannot do. Our Constitution states the people want our governor to live in the state of Alabama for 7 consecutive years up to election. That's not a suggestion, that's not an idea, it's a demand by the people. Now, this is why we're filing the lawsuit and demanding a jury of the people. We don't want a judge deciding this. We want the people to decide it. The people write the Constitution. We filed the lawsuit and demand a jury by the people. I'll answer any questions anyone has.
Just how convinced are you that he's not a resident of Alabama? Why is it that?
I'm 100% convinced. His wife doesn't live in a one-bedroom for the last 7 years in a one-bathroom house in Auburn surrounded by student housing. He's an ex-SEC coach, an extremely successful man, a sitting U.S. senator. They don't live in student housing with one bedroom or one bathroom.
What do you think it would take to definitively prove his residency? Would it be the tax records, the income tax records, I mean?
That would help if he released his income tax records, but his credit card statement showing spending habits, they're going to change like his flight logs do. They're going to be completely different from 19 to 24 than they are in 25 once he announced that he's running for governor. Then there was a massive change in his flight logs, there'll be a massive change in his credit card statements and his utility bills. Your utility bills, when you're not in residence, go down. When you're in residence, they go up. They will show definitively where he lives for the last 7 years.
I know you say the Constitution is clear. Why should voters care about this, and do you think they do care about it?
The Constitution is how people empower our government. It's written by the people. The people have to remember they are the ones with power. Our schools don't teach that anymore, but we have to remember that.
So if he shows even one shred of evidence that he's an Alabama resident, a single credit card purchase, anything, you'll drop this suit?
No, he needs to release all his credit card statements for the last 7 years to show his spending habits and where. Like I ran a Carfax on him. In 2024, his car was serviced 3 times, or his truck was serviced 3 times. In 2024, my truck was serviced 3 times. My truck was serviced 3 times in and around Birmingham, Alabama. His truck was serviced 3 times in Destin, Florida. That's where he lives. You get your car serviced where you live.
So the 51% of his record, 51% of his credit cards come from Alabama. That's good enough for you? I'm trying to figure out the standard that you're going to.
That's what the jury's going to decide. And that's what this lawsuit's about. We're going to present it to a jury, and he's going to have to show his records on where he lives. Because he's never moved back. He changed his residence. He's never sworn he lives in Alabama. He's never proven he lives in Alabama. All he's given to the ALGOP is his driver's license and his pledge that he has homestead in Alabama. But that's not what our Constitution says. Our Constitution's clear.
Can you talk more about the party? I know you filed a residency challenge that was dismissed. What relationship have you had with them on this issue?
It's kind of odd, though. The Republican Party is supposed to stay out of primaries. They're not supposed to pick candidates. We're not the Democrats. Democrats usually like to pick their candidates. But it seems like Tommy Tuberville is being anointed for some reason. And I don't understand that. And I don't understand with most people in Alabama don't think Tommy Tuberville actually lives in Alabama. They think he can get away with it because who he is, he's a sitting senator and he owns a house in Alabama that he claims is his homestead. That doesn't mean you can't.
Going back on her question, the Alabama GOP did dismiss the suit, did dismiss your challenge. So what does that do to your?
No, they didn't dismiss my challenge. They refused to look at my challenge. There's a big difference. They've never looked into where his residency is. None. They've got his homestead and his driver's license. That's it. Like even my friends, they say, we know no one knows or no one thinks he lives in Alabama, but he'll get away with it, because he's got a house in it. But I mean, our Constitution is clear. You have to be a resident citizen of Alabama for 7 years.
What is it? What is the fact that they refused to hear it due to your lawsuit?
If the courts refuse to hear
No,
it?
if the fact that ALGOP did refuse to hear it, what does that do to your lawsuit?
Nothing. That's why we're filing. We're suing them as well. They have a fiduciary responsibility. If they're going to allow him on the ballot, they have a fiduciary responsibility to prove that he's constitutionally eligible to run, and he's not.
We're less than 2 months away from the primary, and you even mentioned it that if this gets to a point where we're after the primary, that this would lead to potentially Doug Jones being the next governor, which it sounds like you don't want to do. Is there any point before the primary where if you feel that there's not going to be a resolution before the primary that you would drop this just to prevent or to make sure that Doug Jones doesn't get it as well?
Well, Doug Jones, as soon as I announced that I was filing, his attorney called us, or called me, and he's going to file a lawsuit the day after the primary. And he wants to help before then, and we're not going to work together, but he's going to file a lawsuit the day after the primary, or very soon after. And Jones has got, probably $500,000 already. I'm not sure exactly what he's raised, but he's got the money, more importantly, the judicial connections to get the lawsuit filed and win. And if that happens, that's going to be horrible for Alabama. We're going to have a Mountain Brook liberal as governor.
Sorry. Who was the attorney that told you that?
Told me what?
That they plan to file their own lawsuit. Who was that attorney?
His attorney, Barry, I forget his last name.
Ragsdale.
I think so, yes.
So kind of to my point, if it gets to May 18th and Tommy Tuberville hasn't provided any evidence that you feel is sufficient, and you feel that Doug Jones would then be able to get the governorship, would you drop your suit to make sure that a Republican wins?
Well, my suit's not going to matter. Yeah, at that point on the 18th, yeah, I'm no longer having interest in it or whatever. So Doug Jones will take over. They'll file suit the next day.
Does your suit expire at the primary?
I'll just drop it. I'll just drop it, and then I'm sure and he'll probably sue in Montgomery County. And I didn't want to sue in Montgomery County because I figured the folks there would drag their feet and wait until after the primary because they would rather have no opponent against Doug Jones. It's about the only way Mountain Brook Mountain Brook Liberal can win is if there's no opponent.
Are you aware of any case law that really drills down on what that 7-year requirement means? I'm not. I mean,
Right. Yeah, the case law on what a resident citizen, and there's some wording in the Constitution up to or whatever, and that means now. It doesn't mean, consecutively or cumulatively over the last 20 years. You've been here 7 years. It's up to, which means, in the case law, it means the last 7 years.
So thinking about that, I think the phrase you're looking for is next before in the Constitution. it
Next
says.
before, yes.
And there are a lot of Alabamians out there who are not legal scholars, and they are
Me-
going to
me
vote
one.
they're going to vote for a candidate they believe in. People who might support Tommy Tuberville but might not understand the legal proceedings. What do you want them to hear today?
Well, Tommy Tuberville he's backed by the money, the establishment, and the media. He's been given $20 million to convince the people of Alabama that he works for them, and not the people giving him the $20 million. And that's why if he does step down, that's about the only way you can do it. I don't know if we can get a jury trial quick enough, but then we'll have a governor that doesn't owe $20 million in favors. The day he announced, I think he had 8 men lining up giving him $100,000 checks. Those men want something. He's not going to be working for the people. I will. I want to be a people's governor. I want freedoms back for the people of Alabama. That's why I'm running in Alabama. The only way Alabama can be free is if Alabamians take care of Alabamians. We need to make sure Alabama can feed itself. The definition of freedom is food independence. We can't feed ourselves right now. The globalists control the food supply. We need to take our schools back. Rockefeller and the federal government took over our schools. Our schools are designed intentionally not to educate our children. We need to teach virtues to our children. They need to be brought back to schools. And medicine. That's why I'm in 2020 with the COVID response, the failed COVID response, and the overreach of government, and the globalist takeover of our medical industry. That's why we have to take medicine back.
how confident are you that you're going to get your day in court and the court is going to take this seriously?
I really believe in America. I believe in our judicial system, and if we can get a jury trial, I think we'll prevail.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Really appreciate it.
Filed this morning or last night?
Right now,
Ah, okay.
like it's probably already,
Okay.
but right now.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.